Welcome back to another Patreon first episode of Across the Bifrost. I'm here, Dr. Norbert, still recovering from the great weekend away at the UK Nations team tournament here in Stockport, England. And with me today is one of the winning team members from the team named Raging Egos, and that is none other than the great Jim Gradwell. Welcome, Jim.
Hi, Norbert. Thanks for having me, mate.
It's so good to have you. So, as I mentioned, your team was kind of like it was kind of an amalgam of the best, the cream of the crop. What else do I say? The maestros of MCP in the UK, all put into one team. Amazing work, and you managed to clinch the win from, I would say, a very competitive field this year.
Yeah, it was good fun. And me and the boys we played a online team tournament together about 6 months ago, and we just carried on chatting ever since. And then when the opportunity came to sign up for Nations, we decided to do it in real life.
Okay, Excellent. That's cool. So before we get started, let's do a little bit about your background. Tell us a bit about how you got into tabletop wargaming and what attracted you to MCP.
All right. So I think I probably started a lot like a lot of people, so in my mid-teens with Warhammer Fantasy and 40k and a few Games Workshop. And then over the years, I sort of moved away from the sort of mainstream Games Workshop stuff. I played some of the specialist games, played about 20 years of Blood Bowl, still play that to this day. And then War Machine with yourself, Norbert, many moons ago.
What edition did you get into War Machine with?
I think the start of the second edition, start of Mark.
Oh, okay. All right. Quite long time. Yeah, cool.
And then I sort of drifted out of gaming altogether over the pandemic when I had, that's when I got a bit serious about my career back then, and also started having children. So I just didn't have a lot of time. And then a good friend of mine, Mike from York, suggested MCP as a way back into gaming with low model count and quick play time. And there was a sort of bit of a budding scene in York where I lived at the time, and that's what got me back into gaming. Really, I took 2 years out of pretty much everything, and Marvel was awesome. It took me a while to get into it because I don't love the aesthetic. I don't hate comics but I really like the MCU, but I'm a bit of a like fantasy gamer. I like things to look like armies or like war bands, like look really coherent. So it took me a while to get over the fact that a lot of the Marvel models, while really cool, are quite disparate. So it took me a while to get over that hang up, but I'm really glad I did. So I started playing quite regularly at the club, and as well as online from the good work yourself and others were doing with the Tabletop Simulator League at the time. I still play that now, and having a great time.
Yeah, we streamed a few of your games, and this is where you got your nickname as being the Savant of MCP. Savant. People couldn't believe the kind of nonsense that you were putting up on the table and how you were executing it in ways that people just aren't. It's just not straightforward the way you think and play. And in fact, that's why I think you were so attracted to Convocation for a time there, because they were kind of a puzzle for you and quirky. They were a very quirky faction. I think that appeals to you, if I'm all right.
Yeah, definitely. And it's not for... there's a little bit of a snowflake factor there. I don't like playing the most powerful thing because it can be a bit boring, and quite often you can walk into people with a lot of plans for you. So if you show up with whatever's most meta, people are a bit ready and maybe they're quite practiced. But what I loved about Convocation, and back then a very alternate way of playing Convocation, like very scenario focused, was that people just had never played it before. Whereas I played a lot of games with it into the really popular meta stuff. So if you're playing Convocation for the very first time, or one of the few times, and in a style that you definitely won't have played before, but I've played this matchup 6 or 7 times, you only need to trick somebody once at the right moment with I don't want to say trick, but like give them something they haven't said before and they made the wrong decision. You can get a lot of advantage that way.
The dark horse factor. But then you went ahead and kind of pioneered a renaissance. I'm going to say renaissance of A-Force.
Yeah, I wouldn't say pioneered. There's a lot of good A-Force players out there. I think I got into A-Force off the back of an excellent interview with Curtis, one of the excellent Canadian MC MCP players, and there's another fabulous A-Force player over in Sweden called Eric, and A-Force they're my favorite affiliation now. I think I played them in the singles the day after the Nations, and I love them a lot. And there's actually quite a lot of similarities between them and S.H.I.E.L.D. I find that are hard to see from just looking at the characters, but then when you actually play, there's a few common factors in the way turns and game flows work out that are very, very similar, which I can maybe touch on later. But A-Force they're my favorite affiliation, and they're so much fun to use.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think they are becoming around in the meta in terms of people's understanding of them being actually quite good now.
Yeah,
especially with some of the recent additions of the type models in the game. So they're not taking everything by storm, but they aren't being as slept on as they once were.
Yeah, they can be. They've got weaknesses to some stuff in the meta, like Kingpin in particular. I think is quite challenging for them, and he's sticking his pimpy cane back in the meta quite a bit right now.
Yeah, I know.
But some of the others
can't keep can't keep him down.
No. But some of the other stuff, I wouldn't say they're advantaged into Apocalypse, but they've got some unique tools into playing into Apocalypse that a lot of other affiliations don't have access to. He's one of the best things in the game right now. So having a plan for that is just already elevates your affiliation. And then the fact that they've got such a lot of people are doing very interesting dual affiliations with them, or even I think like over in America won a tournament with a triple affiliated roster that used A-Force, and I thought that was awesome. Like really, really cool, clever use of their deep character pool. They've definitely got a place right now.
All right, so let's come on to the UK nations then, where you played S.H.I.E.L.D. And in case people weren't familiar with the format, it's a team tournament, 5-person teams. You can't repeat characters across the team, but in addition, you can't repeat tactic cards across the team, and you can't repeat crises across the team until you've used all of them up at least once, and then you can't repeat them more than twice. So there's some limitations there. But we'll come back to whether that influenced your roster or not. But and specifically, why did you decide on S.H.I.E.L.D. Within the team dynamic that you guys had?
Sure. So I've been playing a bit of S.H.I.E.L.D. In the build up, and been really, really enjoying them. So we didn't fully try and construct the best five better things without thinking about what people actually enjoyed playing or wanted to play. So playing something I enjoyed was far more important than playing something that would increase our chances of winning or anything like that. But so I wanted to play S.H.I.E.L.D., and one of the things that's good about S.H.I.E.L.D. in team format is they've got such an incredible set of team tactics cards. So you can go down to one restricted card and still also have 5 incredible tactics cards. Whereas some people might be reaching into their bag for something a bit janky or suboptimum. I had cards like Shieldmobile. That's an incredible card that I never played. But just to have that as an option, as a 6th or 8th tactics card to slide in was great. And then I quite like playing the scoring focused version of S.H.I.E.L.D. With a bit of damage thrown in, and that roster has got. I really hate when people talk about a core of a squad, because I think it's a very, very limited way of looking at Marvel. But there's this one did have that of Namor, Nick Fury, and Spectacular Spider-Man. It's like pretty good every game characters that you can play almost every game. And then you can throw Baren Zemo in for the ridiculous double strategic genius that really should be both called strategic genius effect, and that you can play that every game, I think. And then it have a really good mix of you get the grunts and Namor's safe grab for extra play. You got Namor's drop for stealing extracts, and you've got Spectacular Spider-Man for displacement and Baren Zemo for everything in between. And that sort of covers you, so you can actually go into every game with just those 4 characters. And even though Zemo is obviously a pretty useful character that any squad would take. So it's a big deal that he has to go to S.H.I.E.L.D. to facilitate that style of roster. It's really just those 4 characters that you need to build this style of S.H.I.E.L.D. and then you can take anything from the other. Once everyone else is done picking, you can just pick up the pieces and put something else together.
What are the 4 again to repeat?
So it's Namor, Nick Fury Jr., Zemo, and Spectacular Spider-Man. And that comes to 15 threat, and then you just add to that.
Add threat, yeah. And which leadership are we talking about?
So I played just Namor's leadership, the Invaders.
Invaders.
That's mostly just due to my experience. I've only played that leadership so far. I think there's probably times where I could have and maybe should have played Nick Fury's leadership, which I think is hard. I mean, Namor's leadership's really easy to play. You just put your characters win 2. You were doing that anyway, and you get the rerolls, and it's nice and easy. Whereas I think there's a lot of subtlety to Nick Fury's leadership that rewards lots and lots of games, and I haven't played it once, so I think I'll go away and try and get some games with that. But
so let's talk about, before we talk about your roster some more, let's talk about this affiliation. So, back in the day when it first came out, it was just Nick Fury Jr., and it was a very, I think it was meant to be an attrition. Like, people played it a lot as an attrition thing because lots of little guns, basically, but over time they would add up and at a distance. And so, with ways to protect people from getting charging into them and so forth. Am I right about that? And if that's the case, and then that kind of the meta changed around them and made them uncompetitive as a result. Am I correct?
So I don't know. I've only picked them up since the Crisis card rotation. So, but I did play against them a lot a few years ago, and I think a lot of people were playing them as you say, a wide attrition team. With Nick Fury and all their 3 threats like the Howling Commandos and Iron Man and Hawkeye and Winter Soldier, who are very good at good attrition models. This was back when E-shapes were still a thing in the game, and they were very good on those. They had you could play. I never played this myself, but I played against Bucky plus the Howling Commandos, like double retaliation attacks. They both have got your back or something else called that. So you can get a lot of extra attacks throughout the game. Nick Fury is one of the highest 4 threats in the game for damage output. He's crazy. So I think did a lot of that. I don't know if they became uncompetitive. I think they're still really good. So I can't speak to why they fell out of the meta or any perception around that. But I only picked them up after the Crisis rotation, so no E-shapes, and I went straight into playing them as a Crisis-focused, scoring-focused team.
I see. Okay. And would you advise then, I mean, you said it was because it's easy, but you do think the Invaders one, leadership that is the superior one of the 2? And let's say the default one, and you maybe alt to Nick Fury under certain circumstances?
Yeah, I don't think I can speak on that with a great deal of confidence because I've not played Nick Fury's leadership at all. So I think I will do what you just said over my next few games, is have a plan A of Invaders and then maybe look to plan B to Nick Fury's leadership at certain threats or against certain opponents. But there may still be a full Nick Fury leadership way of playing. But they've also got Iron Man as a leader who doesn't get doesn't get mentioned as much, but I think I think he's a pretty cool character. He's quite unique. So I'd
so
just choose your own adventure. I think you can. They've got a huge amount of affiliated characters and loads of options at every threat. And I think you could probably, with enough practice, find something that works for you.
Okay. So tell us then, with the way you like to play them, how would you tell a new player, what is it that you like about them and what is it that they're good into or good that they do?
Yeah, so I was playing them quite like Web Warriors do. So I mentioned earlier that those 4 key characters were 15 threat, and then I had a lot of 17 threat Crisis in my, all my extracts were 17, so that was a very likely threat that I could pick or be asked to play out. So I took Wong as my 2 threat for that. he's a very popular two-threat splashing web warriors to turn on all of their nonsense immediately and heal and stuff like that. And he does a really similar thing to the S.H.I.E.L.D. roster. So that lets you get Namor charging on turn 1, Zemo charging on turn 1. That's, if you want, you can have Spectacular Spider-Man take a power, move, attack, and then throw anyone on the midline. So, and then I was also playing fast secures, so like the D-shapes, Infinity Formula, Scoundrels, things like that. And those are good scenarios for Wong, because he can, in one move, make it to a secure, hand out a power, and just stay there. He's scoring you points. People can rotate to him and get healed. So those are his best homes, I think, those types of crisis. So that was my 17 I was trying to play in most games. I don't think it excels versus any particular kind of opposition affiliation, but I think it's quite good at playing almost anything. It's got 2 safe grabs, with the grunts and the Namor. I mean, the grunts aren't a safe grab, but they're as safe as it gets these days.
Semi-safe, yeah.
So you got two of those. You've got 2 characters with reroll bubbles that they can stack inexplicably. And then you've got Fury, and the grunts are really high damage. The grunts can get 3 attack rerolls in the right setup. And then Spectacular Spider-Man sort of does a bit of everything, holding extracts, moving around, displacing people. So it's just a very adaptable set of characters. And they're also just all good. So you're not, they're all characters who are splashed outside of their affiliations quite regularly. They all do unique stuff. So it's just putting good characters all together on the table. And then you get this in singles, but particularly in teams, you get these incredible team tactics cards that, Battlefield Medicine that's a banned card. Like that card got banned. So, but S.H.I.E.L.D. still have it. And then Eye in the Sky is outrageous. That's such a good effect, and you get it pretty much every turn.
So is your general approach a deep dive now, and then you fall back kind of a thing, or?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think it's I wouldn't be diving back extracts like F extracts or Wedding Party extracts or anything like that. I'd be trying to safely get the center line extracts and also threaten any of my opponent's characters who are trying to do the same thing if they don't have all these safe grabs, and then try and get a key, daze or steal to just get a little bit ahead, and then keep that small slender lead throughout the game. So I mentioned earlier one of the things that I think makes them very similar to A-Force. It's hard to understand until you play a lot of games with both affiliations. Is that they're both affiliations that are good at playing without priority. So they do very good things at the end of the turn. So like She-Hulk is predicated around she herself is a good last activation character to throw and get a daze, and then she, as well as using the power from the leadership to turn on a lot of stuff. And then S.H.I.E.L.D. do the same thing, going last with Spectacular Spider-Man to swing a point, or going last with Namor to steal an extract. Really, really powerful things. But going last means you don't have priority. But both S.H.I.E.L.D. and A-Force have good ways of blunting whatever your opponent's priority activation is. So in A-Force, that's S.H.I.E.L.D.'s bodyguard, or She-Hulk's bodyguard, or Okoye's bodyguard. And in S.H.I.E.L.D., that's Eye in the Sky. So you can play without priority, play fast and loose, scoring points, and not get punished as hard as other affiliations, because you've got this incredible effect to reduce the amount of damage your opponent could do with their priority activation.
Okay.
So you try and get a little bit of a lead on secure or extract or both, and then use Eye in the Sky to keep all your characters safe and not get clapped back on so hard afterwards.
Okay, Jim, so tell us a little bit about what you think they're not so good into.
Yeah, so I think they don't have an outrageous amount of things that they want to avoid, just having lots of good models that just do good stuff consistently. So where I've struggled the most is against other scoring teams that have got the ability to go a lot wider due to not having a 5 and a 4 threat, like Namor and Nick Fury, that are quite key to the plan. So you're spending 9 threat on key characters, whereas they could maybe split that into 3/3 threats. Like Web Warriors do that very well, as well as X-Men, who are like fast scoring teams who can then go one wider than you, go after you, and really only give you the killing them as an out to stop that. And that's, while that's possible and the list has got a lot of tools to do it, it's still, at that point you're pushing dice around and hoping for the best, and that's not the way I love to play. But it's not. I don't think it's an atrocious matchup. And I did play X-Men the weekend in that nightmare scenario, and did win and had a really fun game. It was really close against your co-host Jamie, and had a really, really good game. But it did feel uphill from the beginning. And then they probably, right now, as of August 2025, with Inhumans and Apocalypse running around, being hitting just the best thing in the game by some distance. They obviously don't want to play that, but nobody does. So I don't think that's.
Is it because they don't have good displacement?
Maybe. I think it's against the voodoo Inhuman style of playing. They've got some stuff that's good against that, like with the safe grabs, and the grunts cannot be possessed. But Inhumans in particular, the way they're being run in the meta around my way is all extract civilians, which is a hit to Namor because he can't steal those. So you can you lose a bit of the power in your core characters. So that's not great. And their engine of stealing and displacing to score points gets online a lot faster than you due to their leadership. And then I'm not sure about Apocalypse. I only played it a couple of times. But Namor and Zemo and Spectacular Spider-Man do not enjoy being rooted and slowed. That is pretty rubbish. They do have a few tools like Battlefield Medicine to do that for a turn, but it's a bit tricky. So I don't know. It feels difficult, but Apocalypse is the best thing in the game at the minute. So I think it's okay. It's to be expected that feels difficult.
Yeah, but you also said Kingpin was the problem.
Yeah, again, Kingpins. So I've not played that yet, but that would be all theory. But yeah, it just feels like you've just got to kill them, and then you're particularly because I think the way I'm playing them is Kingpin favored secures, so you are gonna play him on a D or a B or an F, and just have to try and kill some criminals. I think Namor himself is quite good at dealing with Kingpin with the ignoring damage reduction.
Yeah,
but that list typically runs Rhino and stuff like that. But I'd still think it would be hard. And Black Cat is a model who does all of the offensive rerolls, so you've just got 5 and 6 dice attacks, hoping for the best to kill Black Cat, who's stealing from you and counting as 2. Yeah. So I would. I've not played it yet, but I would imagine that's difficult.
So let's take a look at the roster. Then we'll dig into what you took to Nations. I'll read off like the characters. Then we'll do tactics cards, and then crises. So characters is Namor without a gem, Nick Fury Jr., Spider-Woman, Spectacular Spider-Man, Black Widow, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think that's Black Widow 3. Is that correct? The last? No, second one, isn't it?
It's the second one, the 3-threat Black Widow.
Okay, yep. Crimson Dynamo, Lady Sif, Baren Zemo 1, Valkyrie, and Wong. And by the way, folks, we'll have this list in the show notes so you can copy it out of there if you want to take a closer look. So let's talk about them. So, okay, you talked quite a bit about your core, which is Namor, Nick Fury Jr., Spectacular Spider-Man, and Baren Zemo 1. You also talked about how Wong fills you up to the 17. So why don't we talk a bit about some of these other splashes that you've put in here, or actually core team members, but the ones we haven't talked about yet. When do they come into play?
Yeah. So Valkyrie's sort of my favorite one to play at 18. So if you end up on a pay to flipper or something like that at 18 threat, she's good at getting an extract plus flipping a point. She's got charge on turn 1, which works really well with the double reroll you can use. So you can get her charging the midline turn 1 with 2 rerolls, and her damage once she's wakes up from a daze with Warrior of Legend plus 2 rerolls is outrageous. That's really high. So she's just a good 3 threat. I think I mentioned earlier that I took my sort of 5 core characters while we were building teams, and then I'd just let everyone else take what they needed. So these 5 were just like who's left over.
Okay.
So in singles, I think I don't know who I've got over Valkyrie, but she's still good. But all these 5 characters that we're going to talk about played one game each. Well, Sif and Dynamo didn't come out, and the others played 1 game each. So that's not 1 out of 4. So they're real role players.
Okay. What happens at 16?
So I think you can never play 16 if you want. So I think
just dodge.
Yeah. Well, it's not a dodge. So you can because there are no 16 threat secures. The only way you can play 16 is if you choose your secures with there are no 16 extracts. Sorry. So the only way you can play 16 is if you win priority, choose extracts, and pull the 16 secure. Right. So I would just never do that, even against Inhumans who are trying to force people into that with their difficult decision with some of their clever squad construction. I would still just try and guarantee 17 threat or higher, like the way the Apocalypse teams are doing in the meta right now.
Right. Okay. So that's it. You're just not going to allow 16 to happen, and so you're not worrying about putting a team together. I think so.
For that. Maybe a team would. I haven't gone through all the permutations, so maybe there's something out there, but I've yet to see it. I haven't given it much thought beyond that.
Okay. Cool. So, is there any key character that you had to give up that you think would have it wasn't necessary, right? It's not your core 5, but nonetheless is something that you normally would have in your roster.
Yeah. So in the singles events I played Shang-Chi.
Who hasn't?
Yeah. I mean, he's just with Wong and the rerolls, he's charging on turn 1 and getting a lot of damage through, and he brings the mystic attacks that the rest of the physical shield boys don't have. So I'm playing Shang in that. I think I also take Bullseye in singles as an alternate to Wong. It's in certain matchups if you need someone to contribute a bit more, or maybe hold a back extract. That's something Wong's not particularly effective at. So I would normally take him, but we had a Nick in our team playing criminals, so couldn't really get Bullseye. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So team tactics were brace for impact. Ooh, you were the lucky one on the team.
Yeah.
The Invaders, of course, that's the tactics card. That's the leadership card. Battlefield Medicine, the Shieldmobile, Sitrep, the Initiative, Hard Reset, Defensive Prototype, Eye in the Sky, and Double Agent. So let's talk about why. I mean, this isn't a normal question for like a normal tournament, but in this case, why did you get brace for impact? So
yeah. Well, everyone was staying at my house, so I think I really wanted it because, well, obviously everyone takes it all the time anyway. But I think my elevator pitch for why I should have it was that the leadership and the defensive rerolls are all working on attack, but not
defense.
Not defense. So if you're trying to set up Eye in the Sky to stop a double tap, you can just do that. If you've got brace, you can stop one attack and then they move, throw an attack. You can still dodge 2 of the 3 instances of damage if you're playing a character who's got 2 attacks and a throw. Whereas if they, without brace, Eye in the Sky might not save your character from dazing if they can be attacked once and have something thrown at them in that key moment. And none of the defensive rerolls in the roster help you in that. So that's why I asked for that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So Invaders has to be in there as well. That only leaves you like 3 slots. What were the common other 3 cards then?
Yes, I think I played Battlefield Medicine every game. That's that card is outrageous. And Eye in the Sky every game. And then in 3 games, I played Hard Reset, which is it's Recalibration Matrix, but for S.H.I.E.L.D. only characters. And includes re-rolling of skulls for both characters. So it's very, very similar to Recalibration Matrix.
Okay.
And I played that in 3 of the 4 games. And in 1 game, I played Double Agent when I played Spider-Woman. And that was that was against your boy Jamie. And in one of the difficult games for S.H.I.E.L.D., this style of S.H.I.E.L.D. that I mentioned earlier, which is wide scoring teams. And I mentioned earlier that S.H.I.E.L.D. are good at playing without priority because they can blunt your opponent's priority activation with Eye in the Sky, and then also score points towards the end of a round using their tricks. And so you in a lot of matchups you want to go last, and particularly against wider scoring teams, you definitely want to go last, and you'll almost end up going last if you're dazing characters to try and fix this. So you want to go last, and you want to kill characters, and that's exactly what Double Agent does. Is if you activate with priority, just double tap with Spider-Woman, that card is doing 2 things towards your end goal, which is getting rid of priority and attacking characters. So it's so niche, and it's a bit, people shit on it a bit because they think it's like clunky and there's ways around it. But in that exact situation is when you have priority, don't want priority. It's incredible card because it just does that, and the cost is getting 2 free attacks. So it's just it's so good in that one very specific situation.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but this is the classic problem with S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, you've mentioned cards that are, I know all these cards, I've seen them, so that fills up your 4. Let's not even say 5, your 4. How do you really make that hard decision to cut them for another one out of your 10?
Yeah, so I think I only played those 6. So I played Brace, Battlefield Medicine, Eye in the Sky, Invaders, Hard Reset in every game, except the last game where I swapped Hard Reset for Double Agent.
Right.
And yeah, I don't think
the rest are for show.
The rest are for show. Yeah, I think maybe you can do some cool stuff with the initiative versus Apocalypse maybe, or Web Warriors to like remove slow or key condition when it on Baron Zemo on a key turn. But yeah, I mean those cards are just incredible. You know, like Eye in the Sky that's one of the best cards in the game. Battlefield Medicine is a banned card. Braces is there.
Yeah,
Invaders is your leadership.
Recal.
Invaders is leadership, and in a team event, having a second Recal is pretty
bonkers.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Let's go to the crises. For secures, we've got a superpower scoundrels. We have Mkron, and we have Infinity Formula. And you didn't allude to superpower scoundrels and Infinity are ones that Kingpin really loves. So tell us a bit about your choice of these 3 and why there is one pay to flip in amongst them.
Yeah, so the pay to flip's there because of the specific team format of having to take every crisis. So I wouldn't normally.
What would you put then instead?
Take Mkron. I think I like Riots. Another Kingpin.
Okay.
So
another. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I like Riots there. I mean, Mkron bit me a bit because when I played X-Men in the last round, I won priority and pulled Mkron, which is not what you want versus
because X-Men
versus Storm. But that's just one of the every team had to make that kind of decision around.
Yeah. So let's ignore that for the moment and just pretend it was Riots.
Yeah. So those are I think I mentioned earlier that I'm trying to play them secure focused or sort of scoring focused. So those are crises are very good for facilitating that style of play. So you can spread out, not have all your boys focused down. You've got a lot of long movers, or in Namor and Zemo, Spectacular Spider-Man's really mobile. Those are great crises to play Wong because he can anchor himself on a point without an extract, make himself a really unappealing target, and have people rotate to him to be healed. He can hand out power to allow people to charge from wide point to wide point. So it's just really good. Really good crisis for those specific characters when you're trying to focus on scoring and not attrition.
So the idea is to get onto a point, kill whoever's there, and then you get the point because you're sitting on it.
Either, yep. So you can like tag team Namor and Zemo around, and together they've got really, really high damage with the leadership unlocking skulls and their 2 rerolls, so you can get some really consistent damage through. Or you can like all buddy up and score 2 points and maybe get your extract advantage and just leave the other 2 points. So you can get the extract advantage either through the safe grabs early or Namor's steal. And then just have you trade 2 points for 2, and then you have 5 of your characters fighting -2 of theirs while they're off trying to secure those other 2. Lots, just I guess the traditional or very popular Web's way of playing, where you rotate between them to get a positional advantage, just minus the displacement, of which there's a little bit. I mean, Namor can, in some niche situations, displace people if there's more than one of them. And Spectacular Spider-Man got really good displacement.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, then the extracts. Exciting, interesting to see these. Scientific samples, Terrigen canisters, and cubes.
Yeah, so I like samples.
First of all, are these all ideal ones, or did you?
No, these aren't ideal. So I like samples generally. I think that's a good one. That's the D-shaped 17, isn't it? Yeah, so I like that in singles. I think if you ever get the opportunity to win priority and pick extracts, S.H.I.E.L.D are a great team to do that with, because you can deploy Namor opposite 1D extract and Nick Fury and the grunts across from another one, and then with priority you can safe grab either. And in a perfect world, you would use the grunts to get that flank, and then later in the turn have Wong pass power to Namor, and then you can double tap whoever's on that secure. And you can move Zemo over, so you've got Namor like charging 2 rerolls, including skulls, twice, staggering or dazing that character. It can be pretty powerful. That's another thing that makes them similar to A-Force, is A-Force can do a similar thing there with priority on a D-shape, where they can safely-ish grab one and then threaten special delivery to the other one to get, and then pick up the home one. So you can, with priority, quite often get a 3-1 lead on extracts, and that can be enough to put you in such a strong position where people have to come to you. And then, as I mentioned earlier, if you're forcing them to come to you and you have ways of blunting attrition with priority using like Eye in the Sky, then you're putting your opponent in a really bad position where they have to chase you. They're getting less attacks due to Eye in the Sky, and then they're just attacking into lots of defensive rerolls. You can be frustrating.
Yeah. So what are the other ones that you would prefer?
Yeah, so in singles I play hammers as the other D shape to do that.
Okay, same principle though, but otherwise.
Yeah, exactly the same. And then I can't remember what the other one I might play in singles is. I'll have a think and get back to you. But the 2 that I ended up with are the F-shaped assets, which nobody really wants to play. So I took those for
nobody meaning on your team.
No, I think.
Or do you think in the meta they're not?
I think they're probably. I don't know this. I've not looked at the stats, but I would imagine they're less desirable. I've never played Terrigen canisters.
Yeah, you should come play me.
Are you a canister boy? Yeah. So I've never, since the new pack came out, I've never put it in a squad, and I don't think I've actually played.
It is very punishing, though. It is definitely a very punishing one. It reminds me of Spider Infected in terms of why people don't like to play it.
Yeah, that's right. The other one I like in singles, I've just remembered, is Inhumans deploy advanced weaponry. So that's similar, where there's lots across the middle where you can safe grab a few and then and threaten.
And then threaten the other ones.
Yeah. And the nice thing about that Crisis plus hammers is it gives your grunts a much better attack should they get one of the extracts. So the grunts can use the beam instead of their 4 dice little pistol thing. And then also the grunts with a hammer they're like a full threat damage output.
That's such a good idea. I gotta get my ninjas to pick up one of those and do that. I never thought of that. Oh my goodness. I always forget it because I'm in the heat of the battle. I'm always looking at my cards, so I'm not actually paying attention to the crisis card. Oh man, having a ninja instead of having range 2, having a range 3 beam or something would be amazing. Huh.
Yeah. I think there's an argument to play Montesi as well, because there might be a cool squad in S.H.I.E.L.D, in singles in S.H.I.E.L.D there where you can play Inhuman Weapon, Fear Grips, Hammers, and Montesi. And they're all 18, so if you can come up with a plan for 18, which maybe uses like a 3-threat instead of 1, or a 4-threat instead of Zemo or Spectacular Spider-Man. Yeah. And then you can guarantee an extract that gives your grunts a better attack. That's maybe one to think about. But I like samples because it's really fast scoring, and one of the ways to counter the shield grunts if you don't have priority. So if you have priority of shield, it means your opponent doesn't. So they get to go last, and good players will typically use that last activation to just kill the grunts with that one, so you don't get to pick it up afterwards because you've got no activations left. Mm-hmm. So that would normally lose you a point. But with samples, it might mean that you get the bonus point instead. Because if the grunts are...
Right, because there's less people holding extracts to have to fulfill the conditions.
Yeah, if the grunts were the only one not fulfilling that condition, they can die and you don't lose the point. So that's I've played that extract quite a bit, and that's a cool thing to do with the grunts there.
Yeah, good tech. All right, we're going to go very quickly through the 4 rounds that you've played at the Nations. So first round, your team went into the Galaxy's Greatest, which is a pretty strong team, actually. But you swept them 5-0. Nicely done. You played against, let me find you. Here we are. You played against Ollie Horton, who was playing Daredevil Defenders. Any highlights on that game?
Yeah, this was a good game. I think this was on Macron.
It was Inhumans and Macron, that's right.
Yeah. So this is the game that I played with Valkyrie at 18. And yeah, that was a great game. I made a pretty major mistake with him when I was deploying, because he was playing Bast, Chosen Panther, who's a really cool model that I don't play very much, and I didn't know he prevented modification when you're attacking him. So I deployed the mod squad and Valkyrie across from him, thinking that I'd be doing.
No!
I was going to Warrior of Legend plus my rerolls. He's dead, and that didn't work, so he didn't die. So he, that was, me trying to do what I mentioned earlier, where I safe grab one of the side extracts and then threaten the other with Namor. And I don't think I got Panther on turn 1 because of the rerolls that he was preventing. But yeah, that was a good game. Ollie was always a nice guy.
All right, cool. Then in round 2, another sweep 5-0. Amazing. This time it was against the Sleeping Eternal Cabal. I'm not familiar with these guys. Were they locals, or where are they from? Any idea?
I think they're from the Midlands. They're
Midlands, okay. Yeah. And let's see, let me find your match. It was, it was against Josh, who was playing, Josh115 was playing Star-Lord Guardians. This one feels a little bit closer. It was 18-11. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, this is another good game. This is Infinity Formula versus Guardians of the Galaxy, and he brought out Cosmic Ghost Rider, who I'd not seen for many a year. And he put me out with a key days of Zemo on turn 1, I think, and put me really, really behind the 8-ball. But I think Zemo was able to survive the KO on turn 2 using Eye in the Sky to dodge an attack and get cover from the second one or something. And that was good. And this is the game that Black Widow 3-threat came out.
Okay.
And she gets memed on a bit, does 3-threat Widow, which is actually pretty good versus long-range guns, because she's got stealth and parting shot and Eye in the Sky, so it's really, really hard to double tap her, because she can definitely get out of 3 and get out of 5 in some instances using both parting shot and Eye in the Sky. And I was able to, I think we went 4-4 the first 2 rounds, but then she was able to break parity by interrogating Star-Lord for the point. Yeah. And her damage is actually quite good with like a reroll friend nearby, because she's got guaranteed rapid fire. So it's not like wild trigger rapid fire.
Yeah.
So she will just get it. So she just does do 4 attacks with if you've got Namor or Zemo rerolls nearby. It's pretty good attacks, especially against defensive characters like Guardians, who've got a limit to their defensive, their rerolls. They can use it once and not on 4 attacks. So she was quite good there.
That's a good point. But what drove you to add her in this particular instance?
So she's in the roster because she's would really only get played at 20 threat.
Which this was.
Yeah. Which because I would have to add an affiliated 3-threat character to make 20 threat on top of the 17. And there's a lot in S.H.I.E.L.D. as they can take. They can take Bucky and the Howling Commandos and Hawkeye and her and Iron Man. So there's a lot of options. But I like her because she's she's a bit dark horse. People don't play her a lot. So and she's also a really good. I think she's the only one of those three who has a way of like swinging points using her interrogate to get you an extra point. And she also has a bit of displacement, so she can displace on her spender, which she will probably have the power for because of her guaranteed rapid fire. And she was great in that matchup because I was 6 wide and Cosmic Ghost Rider meant my opponent was only 5 wide. I got to go last on turn 1, which meant once the grunts dazed and lost their extract, she was able to just go pick it up. And then she's actually a pretty good extract holder from that point onwards because she's got stealth and parting shot. So you have to get her in one attack, otherwise she's off. So she was really great in that game.
That sounds perfect. Excellent. Oh, that's really good tech to impart to the community. Love it. All right, round 3 then. Not a clean sweep. People getting a little tired after lunch, I suppose. 4-1, though. 4-1 against the Bald and the Beautiful, which is one of the top teams there consistently year after year in the top parts of the ladder. And these guys are from the north as well. And let's see, you played against Quinn Duggan. He came out of retirement, so to speak, and played Doctor Strange Defenders. Another tight game, 19-14. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, this one was great as well. Have you got the secure?
Yeah.
Was it?
It was Cubes and Wedding Party.
Wedding Party, yeah, that's right. So, yeah, I think he was playing Strange Defenders, who I think he's really, really, really good fun, is Strange Defenders now. But I was able to get Luke Cage I'll get him down to 1 health on turn 1, and then he dazed to the cube damage in the cleanup phase. So I think
perfect.
That put Quinn behind on extracts. So I think I was able to get 3 of the cubes with my safe grab Namor, and then I got a 4th one at the start of turn 2 with the one that Luke got. So I was able to get a bit of a lead, and then use things like Eye in the Sky to stop all my characters from dazing. And then there's a cool moment here where Doctor Strange attacked Namor and with his spender and hit the activated trigger.
Oh.
And then I used hard reset to take the activate.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Poor Quinn, he's like, oh, yes, I did it. I pulled it off.
Yeah. But that attack does still stagger you. But then I played Battle for Medicine to not be staggered. And then
took all his fun away.
Yeah. And then Namor went through the pentagram and killed Wong. So it was pretty it's like Fishman saying no to magic. It was pretty fun.
Fishman. Man, hello. That is pretty fun.
Yeah.
Shout out then to Chris Williams. Chris was playing Mighty Thor Asgard into Apocalypse, piloted by the great Jojo Manji, and won that game by a single point, 16-15. Wow, so that was the loss there. That sounds crazy.
Yeah. Chris is a good guy, a good player as well. So
yeah, obviously, good for him. Interesting. I would have loved to see that game. Okay, we're on to the last round then, and this is against the London team that went up there apparently just as a bit of fun, but did extremely well all weekend long, and so they were in the final with you. But indeed, you guys held up your incredible juggernaut momentum this tournament and won again 4-1. So not a clean sweep, but almost 4-1, and you played, let me find you. You play, oh yeah, of course. You played against Jamie, as we were talking about, but did manage to win this game just barely 20-18.
Yeah. So this is the game where Spider-Woman came out. And yeah, she was.
And remind us again, so this was 19 threat. Was it just to fill the threat?
Yeah. So I've replaced Wong with Spider-Woman here to go from 17 to 19. And yeah, this is the double agent game that I mentioned before, where this is one of the harder matches for this style of S.H.I.E.L.D, I think, where you want to be doing scoring stuff, but you're playing another team that wants to do scoring stuff and can naturally just go wider. So yeah, Jamie went 6 wide X-Men with under Storm's leadership. So he was going to get the last activation on a pay to flip. So he got characters like Beast and Iceman and Nightcrawler who are going to, if I let them go last, potentially flip 2 or 3 Macram points. And I'm going to have a big problem with if I allow that to continue for more than one turn. So the double agent's the counter to that, because even though you're 5 wide, you guarantee getting a 6th activation with that card, and then all you need to do then is daze 1 character to lose priority and go last. So I set it up on turn 1 to have Spider-Woman finish her turn 1 activation within next to Zemo and Namor. So then with priority I played double agent and just made 2 5 dice with 2 reroll attacks to today's Iceman, I think it was.
Amazing.
And then later I think I used Zemo to today's Beast or something, which meant I was going last, and not only last but 2 last activations, because the way double agent works is you don't remove the activated token until that character goes. So I put it on Toad, so it was Toad and Namor to activate. Toad can't pass because I only have Namor unactivated, so Toad has to go, and that then takes the activated token off Spider-Woman, and then I get 2 last activations. I think I was able to take an extract off Toad and flip 2 points with those 2 to really get me back into it. But then Jamie had a great turn 3 after that with Nightcrawler dazing 2 characters with his nonsense, and then it turned into a bit of a scramble. And I think I had to have some good dice to get over the
yeah, sounds true.
But that was it's a great game. And Jamie's such a cool guy to play. He plays a lot of again slightly off stuff, which I like. And that was super fun. It was nice to play him. I've played Jamie a few times before, but never played any of the other guys. I think I played Charles from that team, but I haven't played the other guys. So that would be nice to. But they were all super cool guys from down south, out there, London.
Big shout out then from that Weapon Flex team big shout out to Tom Lewis. Tom Lewis was playing M'Baku Wakanda into Liam Watt's Inhumans. Liam Watt being a monster player and plays a lot online. You've probably seen him stream. That was the one game that you guys dropped where Tom managed to win it 18-14. So amazing work, Tom. Good job.
Yeah, always nice to see the Inhumans lose.
Even if it's your own Inhuman.
Yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts we haven't covered that you want people to know about S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Not about S.H.I.E.L.D, no. But just about the event itself. Yeah, it was great. Tony puts on a really good show. So if anyone, I think he's already announced the dates for next year.
Yeah.
If anyone's considering giving it a go, you definitely should. It's the format's slightly different, even if you're just playing with 5 randoms. The way it limits your roster construction is fresh. You'll play some different stuff, which is always nice. But the format itself is great. To play with friends and have more on the line than just your own game is really
team
fun.
Tournaments in general have that aspect to them, and you're right, Tony has run one consistently since the pandemic days. He's been the OG running stuff, which has been really, really important to the community early on, and he's carrying on that tradition now, which is great.
Yeah. Except there was still no sauce for my chicken, Tony. I had dry chicken for 2 years in a row, Tony. More sauce next time, mate.
I was in the same boat. I was seen removing one of the bottles from the table and taking it off to a corner where I had my food, and people were shouting, "Oh no, that's for the whole room. That's for the room." And it was literally empty. I was using it to scrape. I was going to use some chips to scrape the walls of the thing. So there was no sauce to be had at all. I had a little bit of mayonnaise.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's his thing. Maybe he just likes to see us suffer. All right. Until next time then, cheers and happy gaming.